Welcome to Thinking in Turns. I've had this replay for a while, and it's a very interesting one, a very long game with a little bit of comedy factor. I think you'll enjoy it. We have StonyDrew playing the Rebels versus VVD playing the Knalgans. And there's a very interesting theme in this one, and it shows how important economy is in Wesnoth, especially when you're playing 1v1, but even in campaign and against AI. It's one of the most important factors to consider. So let's get started. We have some normal recruits. It is a map with two sides, and then there's somewhat of a cave here where you don't have any advantages on day and night cycles. And that's basically it. I'm still not too sure how to play elves. I find them a little bit awkward to spectate and just get through them. But there was a normal recommend you just recruit a couple of units, you can grab villages, be as versatile as possible. So let's check it out. In this setup, Sony tries to go for the right flank because this is where rushes usually come from, or early attacks, since this is where the keep is closest to. And then you try to play mobility on the other side. It also allows you to grab some villages. Nothing too special here. You see VVD going over, trying to reinforce the left flank because most of his units are going to the east. At first contact, as rebels here, you don't really want to fight during nighttime because there are a couple of chaotic units on the other side, so you don't really want to give them 3 good hits, even though you are neutral. But let's look at this matchup. So we have a couple of dexterous units, a couple of strong elves, which is always nice to see. We had dexterous archer over here. So pretty good recruitment, and then on the west flank we just have a couple of units to stall from what I expect. There's a bit of movement, and this is the first attack that's actually coming in, and you can see that there's some special type of time of day here, which is the underground. So it basically sets everything to neutral, everything to 0 on the chaotic local units, and then units get upgraded, which we don't have in later for now. Maybe it's something to think of. So right here, the chaotic advantage during nighttime doesn't really apply to the Knalgans units, so I think it is actually an interesting attack, while also playing a 3v2 right now. A lot of the Knalgan units are still on the west flank or a little bit further away. They are not far enough up to claim any villages right now. Just in general, decent temple play. Now you just gotta be careful that you don't get overrun on the other flank if you're playing rebels. See everything shifting to the east, trying to reinforce, and this was honestly a buy that I didn't quite expect. You do get 2 Warzels over here, they are lawful, so you kind of want to fight during day. And this is a good recruitment timer, right? Because once they start arriving at these villages over here, it will most likely be daytime, so they will be fighting at full strength. But Warzels, I think, are a little bit difficult to play here. There are no villages close to forests, and Warzels have horrible dodge chance when they're not in the forest. The forest is their best one with 40%. And other than that, it's mostly 20, sometimes 30. Right? Against Knalgans, you don't really see this unit that often. There's a lot of blade damage, which do decently well against Warzels. And if it's just a normal 1-for-1 engagement, it will most likely beat a Dwarvish fighter, especially during daytime. But then there's also nighttime coming in. There are possibly thieves with their backside damage. And so I feel Warzels are way too responsive and way too clunky to play in this matchup. But it is a decent idea if you really want to push the side on the next day. Since you see all of the units moving east, and the Griffin Rider is also quite far away, so if these Warzels can surprise the Knalgans, then you can get some tempo, maybe take 1 or 2 villages, and start snowballing with the eco. Disengaging on the east side because he sees a lot of movements coming in, units coming in. Also not enough movement points to catch the rebels over here. Now, moving to the other flank to make sure you have enough defending units. And then now that she's come, and you see even a third tree, like this is already a little bit crazy. Also, disengage, it's nighttime, you don't really want to force the fight. Disengaging is a little bit awkward. You have a lot of good forest tiles here that you would like to utilize, a couple of keeps that would be nice. But since you invested so much gold on the west flank already, it's probably a losing fight over here. Simply due to numbers. They have a little bit of a standoff, and now the first voices should be coming into vision. And now we really should know what's up here. That's taking engagement as they approaches. I think this is mostly fine. He also has the commander here to recruit for next turn. A little bit awkward to not be able to play around the forest, but all in all, the Knalgans, the thieves, the footpads do suffer quite a bit. And a village got an outland against the quick scout. So this is quite a decent win already. Just getting a village like that for free. He's not gonna get forced off next turn either. No, nice Thunder hit. You see the units taking quite a bit of damage. You would expect to lose it. As I said, because of numbers advantage, the terrain is not the best for elves to be working with. You would very likely be on forest, which you didn't have earlier. But in return, you have bosses arriving at daytime perfectly to start hitting the fighters. And you see the difference is quite huge. There's 13 damage to a dwarf, they do 7 damage back, some 3. That's 13 times 2. And you regenerate, which is why this is such a good matchup. So even if you get a little bit unlucky, you can still tank through it, mostly. All you need to do is be able to grab one of the forests for your walls to send on. And clearly, VVD didn't expect that move, even though I'm pretty sure he should have been able to see the bosses. But yeah, all of his units are just way too far away to participate right now, to help out against this mass. And I don't think just these a couple of dwarvish fighters will be able to block 3 bosses coming at him at daytime. Also losing another village, but a little bit overcommitted on the eastern flank. I think there's post teams and he doesn't really get much if they die, but they shouldn't. Just keep out the pressure on both fronts, east and west, as much as you can. It's a little bit annoying. I don't think I can change colors. There's like the green red on the map and the red red. Yeah, we get that one, we get one more village for Stony. And this looks like a quite an exciting game so far. So there's a big push on the western flank using bosses. There was a push for VVD on the eastern flank, which he does give up for now to go back and defend. And this is probably the turning point of the game because he tries to consolidate back here. And dwarven units are super slow with 4 movement speed. The footpads are quick, but they usually suffer against most of the rebel units. And if you look at the village count, Stony has 10 villages, 22 gold income, and while obviously VVD will have 6. And it starts to add up, like all these single villages that he's losing, that he's not in control of right now, that he can't contest during daytime, do result in quite a bit of a gold difference. But look at the first level 2 unit, it's an intelligent rogue. Yeah, he's pulling back now, trying to stay somewhat safe. Nice. Was getting 2 hits. Was slowly taking the western flank. But as you see, the bosses, they do take quite a bit of damage in the retaliation, and now that it's about to be nighttime, they will do way less damage. A bit difficult to get through. But already these bosses have accomplished quite a lot. You did get these 2 villages, you have a decent setup here, right? And because of all this pressure over here, you require quite a lot of attention to be moved to the western flank, because VVD can't really recruit the units to deal with this right now. 60% dodge chance. Another kill for the rogue. And I can spoil that. We will see more than one level 3 unit in this match. But there are more Wozels. Who would have thought? Now that the western side has enough for them, right? You're pushing the trees on the eastern flank. Honestly, I don't really mind it too much. Because so far VD hasn't been able to deal with the Wozels coming in. But I think having something faster, which could be scouts, which could just be normal warriors or archers on the eastern flank would be better, because the Wozels will take so long to arrive that you will have your western flank already cleared up, and then you will probably not be in time to apply any pressure. A bit unlucky with the dwarf surviving. And the trees, they go down. The X's win against trees. Yeah, and Union, that means one combat level up. So yeah, that's why you don't really want to have Wozels in this matchup. You did have a lot of advantage, especially due to tempo and the night of day, like time of day. But during night, you just get slaughtered. But you have a little bit more pressure on the eastern flank because of that. And while Sony is kind of losing the western flank, he recruits one more walls. And during the solo engagements, even though he's losing more units, he has better income. He has way better income. So it's not as painful to lose all of them. Or rather, even if he loses all of them, he can just recruit more. As long as he keeps the advantage in terms of villages, it doesn't matter if you have bad trades or bad matchups. And there's one more tree! Another Woz! We have an Ulfasaker here, which is, I think, a little bit questionable. He is very good into archers, but if you're fighting a boss, I'm not sure how good the chances are, especially if you don't have a strong Ulf. But it doesn't look like a good matchup to me. And the trees, they have arrived. We get one more on this village. And as long as he keeps the villages for 2, 3, 4 turns, it just ends up. It's up. Also, that's daytime again. Again, bosses do make a little bit more sense. All the chaotic units do less damage. Actually, quite lucky that the archer didn't get hit. But yeah, he's trying to defend here, but the regeneration is just too strong in these engagements. We have a kind of 2v2 matchup here, which the Wolves should be winning, so because they can regen more. Now we have the Wolf versus the Wolf matchup, which the Wolves wins. Yeah, there's an archer that's close to leveling up, but it's far more experience, which he shouldn't get. Ooh, solid against walls. Doesn't feel too great. But he gets the kill. Okay, he didn't get enough damage, so we got another level 2 unit, the Elbow Ranger. And now during nighttime, just not enough damage to get the dwarf. And still, Sony gives up good pressure, even though he's losing units, he is always pressuring both sides. He can keep the village control. It hasn't been easy, especially not with these slow moving bosses. But VVD doesn't really get the answer to them so far. Simply because he didn't do enough damage to clear the bosses quickly enough. The archers in this forest are so scary. 70% dodge chance, so high. So now we get some normal units with mixin, and so far this game looks like it should be a free win for Sony. So because of the eco advantage, as long as he can get a good push going or maybe win on RNG once, it should be pretty free. See all these fighters coming in, just using their range attacks without retaliation. Easter flag is a little bit too far pushed up. We even have an assassin right now. So this game has been evolved into. Because he has slain too many bosses. Yeah, it's a little bit unlucky that you don't get that village this turn. still works. Those were some really good hits. Now 4 more XP missing in the archer. Yeah, just recruiting more warriors. This is what I would expect from a usual elf. You just keep on recruiting your fighters, maybe get 1 or 2 scouts for the mobility. But more or less, the fighters are the most stable units you can get. So yeah, now all of your units get cleared up at daytime. Also, some lucky hits, but also somewhat to be expected. Because you didn't really have any good tiles for your warriors to be on. And you're fighting dwarves in a village. So, if this didn't work out, we just get another boss. Oh my god. Yes, the bosses, they have been working out here, but the fighters, they did made a little bit of an oopsie here. Didn't get as much progress as you would want to. That's another thief close to leveling up again. He's not intelligent this time. Ooh. The leader taking a little bit too much damage. We also have the dwarf fighter close to leveling up as well. So this is what usually happens when one player has an economic advantage. He will keep on sending units because he needs to invest the gold wisely and to keep the advantage. Because if he doesn't, he will just get stat checked by the higher level units at some point. Since the trades are bad, so you do give your opponent a lot of experience, but you can make up for it with numbers usually. Then we get 1 more boss. Now Vidi needs a little bit of time to heal back up. He did get good trades, but this also missed that he took a lot of retaliation damage on them. So he's trying to consolidate more or less, setting up a decent enough defense. Now we get plus 22 gold per turn for Stony. Fighting at nighttime feels super bad, especially against a fighter on a village. But I think Stony he feels a little bit pressured to do stuff now and not give VG any time to heal up his units. Honestly, this wasn't an interesting fight, but I suppose it should have been winning. It's 1 HP for Schuster, 16% chance for him to survive there. There's some fighters to finish off the push. You need 3 more experience, but he won't get it in the combats. Yeah. Get the war with steel clad the first dwarf in level up. But now it's about to be daytime again, and the trees, they are rising up. Get 4 of them on the western front already. Get its second steel clad. You see all the experience is just coming in. You also start losing villages over here because you invest a lot in bosses. But you also get some villages up here. And this is what I mean by tempo. You typically wouldn't want to fight during nighttime here, but you just feel like you have to, otherwise you will give your opponents chances to recover, to heal up HP, and then you probably won't be winning, because you will be fighting against superior units. And now these circuits comes in super handy. They do so much more damage on these forces. I think he wants to tell you that you're not making enough wars. Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of true. And we can see another wars being recruited. And at this point, you got only 4 villages on the side of PvD. You get 1 gold per turn. Obviously, you will probably take some villages back, pump it up a little bit. But with 1 gold per turn or 4 gold per turn, you're not getting any recruits. So what you're playing with right now, all these units are basically what you get for a long time. Get 1 more wall on the western flank. Now, Stormy did run out of steam a little bit, because he did clear it up over here twice already. He did get a lot of villages in return, but still, it means he needs some more time to actually build up a threatening push. And again, you're not too sure if you want to give your opponent this time, because he will start healing up his units and then get a lot of value. But with 24 gold per round, you can just get 1 walls every round. Look at this. You get another tree coming in. And 2 more. It's not now it was in a little bit of a slow phase, which I do kind of get. as I said, Stony doesn't really have the tempo right now. Get one more level up on the rogue. Yeah, doesn't really have the tempo right now, but so this VVD, he doesn't really have the goal to recruit a lot of units, and most of his units are wounded, so he also can't really push up too far. Both are waiting right now. And I'm pretty sure the wait is benefiting Stony more than VVD at this point, simply because his gold income is more than double. But all VVD needs right now are just a couple of good kills, one good cleanup, and to regain some villages, and then he's back in the game. Which he doesn't get because his thieves are just dying to the elves. Now the leader gets involved. No level up on the fighter here. Get one more tree. And yeah, rogues and footpads go down so quickly to the bosses when they get hit. You really need to have them on favorable terrain. They're getting involved again. Not sure if I like it, but I'm not sure if there's much else for him to do. Now we have a level 2 Wolf Bowish Berserker. One more experience needed, but he doesn't get it. And we get more trees, and now this game devolves into something really special. So the dwarf was going down because he's on 30% defense terrain. A little bit unfortunate, but with 3 units hitting him like that, especially those with strong hits, kind of understandable. But yeah, now the Oath can consistently start taking down walls because of the level up. Gets a lot of damage on them. But at the same time, you have 2 walls fighting 2 dwarves on the right. And just taking the villages, right? Now the village lid is not as huge anymore. But he got an walls leveling up into an Elder Walls, to the old Circa, who was wounded previously. We just have more trees coming in. It's also the annoying part, if you don't get to kill the walls, they start regening and then you're losing out on value again. Now, Stony is a little bit too far up again because he was snapping some units, which does cost him here. At the same time, it's also a lot of time that he's buying. Now, you get a village for one more turn, get a walls in the backline, which he kind of needs to address this, and otherwise he will start losing villages here. But then he also kind of needs to address the incoming bosses. So it's a very tough decision to deal with. Thankfully he has a level up sleeve, so they have the skirmisher trade and can go where they please. But yeah. Leader getting dangerously low because he was taking these fights early against bosses, which does hurt quite a lot. The bosses with a 40%, 6% piercing resistance, they really don't take a lot of damage from the Dwarvish Stalwart over here. Get one sneaky boss in the backline picking up random villages left and right. We even have the Griffin Rider leveling up with 1 combat. Kind of unlucky that the Assassins has 51 experience points, but sometimes you just don't get to choose. But what we see more trees being recruited. It's been working so far, but I never changed the running system. That's what I say. Another kill to the Assassin. Again, not something you want to see, because he doesn't advance any further than this. And we have 1 scout. But 3s are not good enough, they're too slow, we get a scout. Probability. Honestly, I really like the scout edition. Also, having this many bosses is kind of bad, but with the scouts you at least get to threaten the backline villages, which are difficult to reach with these slow moving dwarf units, especially because BVD still needs a lot of units on the front line to be able to deal with the boss pressure. But at this point, I thought, honestly, I know it's a little bit of heresy, but I thought that BVD is making comeback, and that Stony recruited too many trees. But there can't be too many trees. That's all I can say. Let's just keep dying on the blade, so all the blade damage. They don't really have blade resistance, yeah, +0, so they do take full damage from these. But now the right flank is getting pressured by these scouts who do catch up quite quickly. These trades look kind of average, but it's mostly benefiting VVD because he gets to pick up a lot of experience, and he's killing off very, very expensive units by using mostly low-cost units himself. Now it is daytime, and Stony does get the hit on the Soulward, so one Soulward getting down, and you see the immediate advantage of these scouts. Or picking up 2 villages over here, 1 village over here. Now you need to deal with the threat onto these villages, so you don't lose them in the next couple of turns. And this makes the game a lot more difficult to play, because you need your high-level units to deal with the Warzus, but at the same time you need someone to be sitting on the villages. And who do you have sitting on the villages when you have no income? When you can't recruit any units? You can't have footpads sitting on the villages either, because the footpads die to scouts and to bosses. Can't really have thieves on them, and these Dwarven defenders are pretty expensive. And even Dwarven defenders do fail against the bosses, so you have to have Dwarvish fighters on your villages. But it does take quite a bit of gold to get there. It is nighttime again, and now Stony finally decides it's time to end the game. He starts recruiting some fighters. And it feels like VVD is getting out-rotated a little bit. He moves most of the units to the east, which is where the opponents are coming from, but now there's another attack on the western flank, which I don't think he's prepared to deal with. It's just the thief and the dwarf. And there are too many numbers. This is what happens when you enter the forest. Now we have another rogue close to leveling up. Only 8 experience points needed, 1 thief close to leveling up. I have a tree that's an elder boss. He's trying to pick up the kills. I don't think the experience here does anything, but getting one more rogue, getting one more assassin might give him enough luck to start assassinating people. Even though it is daytime. The high level is going down, and in the end, this storm does seem to take over. Now you have your leader who is taking very heavy hits from the elder walls. And get more trees recruited. This one should go down. Okay, he decides to pick up the fighter first. The tree doesn't go down, it's just right next to your leader. And if you look at this, at the objectives, but look at these statistics. There was 1000 gold spent by Stony, 26 of which are bosses. Oh, which is 26 of his units. He lost almost double the amount of gold value that he killed. And he's still winning this game quite decisively at that, against level 3 units. Because you just have so much gold out of taking 1, 2, 3 villages with good pushes early on. And you can pick right off of them. Even if you recruit suboptimal units, even if you take bad fights, even if you get unlucky, you're still, since turn 10, you're in a winning position. And it's very, very hard to throw that away. But yeah, the leader tries to be useful, tries to get the walls, and this is where it crumbles. But even if he doesn't, I think this game is over for VVD. So yeah, honestly, this was such an interesting game. I was expecting to get some insight and learn how to play Rebels, and I'm not really much smarter than I was before. But the trees, the breadth of the trees was real menace. And this feels so bad as well, because you have so many leveled units. What did you have? You had the Berserker level 2 Ulf. You had 2 Steelclads. You had a Griffin Master, which is also level 2 unit. You have two Assassins. Yeah. And it's still not enough to deal with the bosses coming at you. Let's see, the sets are somewhat even, but yeah. Well, I played to both of them, and honestly, I'd love to see more bow spend from Sony if he ever ends up playing Rebels again. So, hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'll see you in the next video.